Ukraine says it's ramping up the homegrown production of drones as it struggles to cope with the demand for the technology on the front line. The country has so far purchased more than 3,000 drones as part of its Drone Army campaign.
The bloody war between Russia and Ukraine is being fought on the ground and in the sky, using drones, some of which were never intended for military use.
Our present for Russia.
Video drones have become a lethal weapon at warfare. Cheap drones like Mavics have changed the frontline war. Would you believe it?
Consumer-style drones, tanks, troop positions, and other large-scale weapons. Jane's intelligence.
We have heard enough that the war between Russia and Ukraine is a tech war. Ukrainian Minister of Technology accused Russian armies openly for using DJI drones in the war using his X account, but later he posted that they too use DJI drones for the same purpose. The war in Ukraine is not a war between military drones, it's about the cheap video drones, the same we can keep inside our rooms. You won't believe that small cheap drones like Mavics have completely transformed how this war is fought. This Chinese drone maker has brought in a huge change to this war. To really see how these cheap drones are changing the war, we need to look at how they are being used in Ukraine and Russia. This is a war of tanks, artilleries, bunkers, trenches, a 20th century style war. But there is one addition which is leveling up this war to a tech war, the drones. It's hard to get a precise number, but experts assume there are about 6,000 to 10,000 drones like DJI Mavics used by both armies of the war. This is in addition to the military drones. There are hundreds of them as well. I'm gonna tell you why drones like Mavics are becoming a dangerous weapon, a never intended use. Here's why. Mavics or FPV drones are ones you can buy at a camera shop or an electronic shop. These are small aerial machines, but they got a decent video quality with a high quality wide angle lens and low quality telephoto lens. It's stable, rugged, and a reliable drone. But soldiers in Ukraine and Russia have found a way that makes these drones a disruptive drone at warfare. With a simple controller, you can fly a small agile drone above the enemy fire and drop grenades fitted with impact fuses right onto their heads. You don't need to carry a weapon with you and make it to the front line to attack the enemy. What happens is, the trenches and foxholes are no safer for soldiers anymore. That's what cheap drones like Mavics and FPVs are doing in Russia and Ukraine. These drones became a very important weapon for armies in both countries. But you might be getting a question, are companies like DJI directly selling their drones to the armies? No. DJI has completely stopped their business in the two countries. Their operations made hold, soon they face critics about the usage. Then how are these machines getting into these two countries? It's simple. The drones are being bought in a third-party country from electronics stores, which you can buy anything, and they are being shipped to Ukraine and Russia. For any company to stop this path of supply is impossible. However, finally the money goes their pockets. Indirectly, their sales are skyrocketing. Don't you think for companies like DJI to become billion-dollar companies, this doesn't help? Now, just making these video drones look dangerous is not fair without looking at the other drones used in the war. Drones are everywhere in Ukraine and Russia because they do so many things. They directly attack enemy targets, scout enemy locations, help with targeting for artillery, supplying ammunition and medics, and many more. Drone-directed artillery fire are making the work of artillery officers much accurate, saving them hundreds of rounds to take down an enemy target. Overall, 3 different drones perfectly demonstrate how this technology is changing warfare. One of the mostly used drones by Russia is the Iranian-made drone Shahed 136. Iran is one of the world leaders when it comes to drone technology. They don't have a strong aerospace sector. A recent tragedy that happened to the Iranian president proves it, but they have built a strong drone technology to overcome it. Experts believe that Russia is using about 1,700 drones of this kind. Russia is using Shaheds to cause destruction to Ukrainian weapon stock and critical civilian infrastructure. Shahed is the best drone for bombing missions because it's not a typical drone, it's a suicidal drone. It can't carry any guns or weapons. Instead, it goes right into the enemy target and blasts itself, causing destruction. It hovers in the air around the target until it receives the order to go and hit the target. One Shahed is about $20,000 and it's not expensive compared to other drones. They are hard to detect and have a range about 1,000 miles. Ukraine's drone hero is the Bayraktar TB2. This Turkish-made drone has helped Ukraine to survive many battles. Bayraktar is an UAV with a wingspan of 39 feet. It can fly up to 27 hours at altitudes of 25,000. Bayraktars have laser-guided bombs and they are so accurate. They are powerful enough to destroy even anti-aircraft systems. For months, Russians were getting huge damages because of the Bayraktars. A one Bayraktar costs about $5 million. Third are the video drones. DJI Mavic is one of the mains. The brand DJI has got some versatile drones. There are many versions of their portfolio that are being used in this war. DJI FPV, DJI Agras series, DJI Flycart 30, DJI Delivery Hub. These are massive drones which can even lift an injured soldier from the battleground. But above everything, DJI is a game changer in this war. There are several reasons. First thing is the cost of the drones. Compared to other drones, DJI drones are way cheaper. When you compare it with a comparatively low war drone, Shahed, you can buy 10 DJI Mavics for the same price of a Shahed. Even though the range and the flying time of these drones are high, for short-range attacks, DJI have become the go-to. Both armies have got Mavics modified to fly more hours and software jailbreaks to get around the geo-blocking. For Ukrainian soldiers, other than their weapon, DJI drone have become a very reliable tool. Mavic is lightweight and portable. And in the early days actually, it was small enough to not be detected by Russia radar. They are very useful to recon the view from above, to see the lay of the land, to collect intelligence. A famous strategy to collect intelligence and recon is the 4-man strategy. But the risk the soldiers taking is very high. If they get caught in the enemy line, that's their end. But with the use of these small machines, this task has become way much easier and life-saving. The most important thing is this small machine can literally destroy a target like a tank, which costs millions of dollars. Even though you lose 10 or 20 drones of Mavics or FPV drones, if they can destroy one tank, that's a huge win. But hold on, video drones are just consumer drones that you and I use to shoot fun videos. So for any military, jamming a drone like this should be a very simple task, isn't it? Russians, they are far ahead in their electronic warfare. The signal jammers the Russians use are strong, but in the early days, they have failed to detect drones like Mavics due to their size. And mainly the drones like Mavics and FPVs are used in the front line. The strength of electrical jamming in the front line is weaker than towards the inner territories. So, to attack on the frontline convoys and vehicles, these have become ideal machines. In the frontline war, the technology is not much strong. But definitely in the inner territories, the electronic warfare is very high. To penetrate it, of course, they are using the high-tech military-grade drones like Shaheds, Bayraktars, Phoenix Ghosts, or Pumas. And there is another tactic Ukrainians use to boost the signals. That is putting up another drone with a signal booster in order to bridge the radio signals. This drone helps the attack drone to reach its target without getting jammed. Drones offer tactical flexibility that more conventional technology doesn't. Cruise missiles and manned planes might be more powerful, but they are way more expensive while also being less versatile. A cruise missile can't help you find the enemy or improve accuracy of your artillery. If a manned plane goes down behind the enemy lines, you are missing a skilled human pilot and a billion-dollar piece of hardware. DJI is the king in drones. No other company has done much to transform drones from something you occasionally saw on TV to something you can have in your room. We have to admit that DJI is fast, innovative, and reliable. It outcompetes and underprices its competitors. Here's where the things are now. Drone technology is rapidly maturing. Cheap drones like the ones you can buy from your local electronics are becoming important in places like Ukraine and Russia. Countries are rushing to develop their own drones or buy them off the shelf. So, in Ukraine, who actually modify these DJI drones? The volunteers, students, and technicians and tinkerers who are repurposing their skills to resist invasion of Russia. Of course, Russia's story is quite different because Russia's air sector is much stronger than Ukraine's. On the other hand, this is a big threat for companies like DJI because Ukraine is developing their drones everywhere in the country. So there will be a great chance that they can get the upper hand in the drone market at some point. According to reports, war in Ukraine is more and more becoming a war of drones. This is the first war, but we can sense that this will not be the last. In Ukraine, most of these drones are made in homes and classrooms and DIY workshops. These DJI drones were useful, but they had limits. DJI, which is a Chinese company, is not thrilled about their drones used in war, especially by the Ukrainians. So, they make big efforts to block software and hardware from getting into the country. Also, you can't really customize DJI drones that much. Ukrainian soldiers needed to customize their drones more and more when the war progressed and to infiltrate Russian territory. Drones simply get destroyed frequently. Soldiers are using them very much. They are using about 10,000 of these drones per month, yet the flow of drones keeps coming thanks to the grassroots efforts from the resourceful Ukrainians all around the country. A few years back, things that we are talking were only available in games and sci-fi movies. We are slowly moving to a world which is becoming more and more dangerous to live, aren't we? Drones being everywhere make it a very dangerous and unstable place to live. They can simply carry explosives, weapons, and drop to the enemy target with the use of 3D printed quick releases and just vanish. Or the drone itself can go and hit the target with impact fuses. This is the direction we are heading into. So actually, for future wars, every soldier will get a drone which can be attached with an explosive and hover it to the enemy and blast. Definitely the things we saw in games are really taking place now. This is the bad side of technology. It's inevitable, but being aware of it is something that will help to understand what's really going on. Making you aware of these is our job, I believe. Exactly what we are doing. So thank you very much for watching the video. We have got you a similar story like this. How Microsoft built an insane war goggle. Click in the thumbnail on the screen to check it out now. I will meet you there in a moment.